5 friends go into a flooded cave in Thailand. Only one comes out. And by the time the credits roll, you realize the real monster in the devil's mouth was never just the shark hiding in the water. It was something far closer to home. Stick around, because we're breaking down exactly what happens in the caves, who survives, who doesn't, and what that final scream on the ledge actually means. The Devil's Mouth dropped on Prime Video on July 29th, and it wrapped a brutal creature feature around something a lot more personal. Directed by Jeff Wadlow, the film follows a group of college friends celebrating one last trip together before real life hits. Kathryn Newton plays Sara, the quiet one, the planner, the girl everyone underestimates. And that detail matters a lot more than it seems at first. Sara, Max, James, Greg, and Adrian land in Thailand for a post-graduation getaway. Right away, something feels off. While the group parties on a yacht, they accidentally leave Sara behind in open water, where she gets stung by jellyfish. Nobody seems too bothered. That's the group dynamic in one scene. Max leads. Everyone else follows. Sara just gets left behind. But then, the trip takes a darker turn. The group hires a local guide named What to take them through a massive flooded cave system called the Devil's Mouth. Sara has her own reason for being there. Her father died exploring these exact caves years earlier, and she's never really let that go. What walks them past something called Skeleton Cave, where actual human remains are still sitting from a village that was wiped out generations ago. He warns them, flat out, that they're only guests here. Nobody listens. Once they're deep inside, the group finds a half-eaten sea turtle floating in the water. It's the first real sign that something dangerous made it into these caves. A brutal storm hit the region just days before their arrival, and it likely opened a path for a bull shark to slip in from the ocean through a narrow tunnel. Here's the surprising part. Bull sharks can survive in both saltwater and fresh water. So this isn't some supernatural creature. It's a predator that simply doesn't belong here, and now it's trapped in the same maze as they are. The bodies start dropping fast. A solo diver named Ryan is the shark's first victim, and the group only realizes something is wrong when they find his damaged mask, with a shark's tooth still wedged inside it. That's where everything changes. What insists they leave immediately. But the group can't agree on which route to take, and the arguing costs them. Greg, who's terrified of blood, becomes one of the shark's next targets. Adrian, already bleeding from an earlier injury, draws the shark straight to her. What eventually abandons the group after one too many arguments, and the cave punishes him for it. He gets cornered in a narrow gorge, and the shark takes him too. Then it's James. Trapped in a tight underwater passage with no air tank left, he tells Max he loves her, tells her to keep going, and drowns before anyone can pull him free. Looking back, almost every death traces to the same root cause, somebody ignoring a warning. What's caution about the cave walls? Sara's instincts about the route. Her knowledge of the terrain, the one she brought a first aid kit, rope, and a knife for. The film keeps planting the idea that Sara is actually the most prepared person in the group, even while everyone treats her like she needs to be managed. That imbalance becomes the emotional core of the ending. By the final stretch, only Sara and Max are left. They reach a lookout point Sara had pushed for from the beginning, but Max's hand is badly broken from the climb. Sara ties a rope between them to help pull her up. The biggest twist comes next. The shark surfaces and drags Max under, and because they're tethered together, Sara gets yanked into the water with her. She's forced to cut the rope just to survive. Which means the girl who spent the entire movie following Max's lead is now completely alone. Instead of panicking, Sara remembers something Watt said early on, that the cave's rock formations are dangerously unstable. So she turns that fragility into a weapon. She deliberately lures the shark into slamming against a weak limestone pillar, again and again, until the structure finally gives out and buries the shark under collapsing rock. Badly hurt and dazed, Sara pulls herself through a gap where daylight is breaking through, climbs to a ledge overlooking the coastline, and lets out one long, exhausted scream. She survives. She's just about the only one who does. On the surface, this is a shark movie. Underneath it, The Devil's Mouth is really about control. Max spent the whole story assuming she knew best, and that instinct is what steers the group into danger over and over. Sara spent the whole story going along with it, because Max was the one who held her together after her father passed away. The cave doesn't just take Sara's friends. It strips away the dynamic that defined her entire adult life, and forces her to survive using only what she knows and trusts about herself. That's why the ending doesn't feel like a victory lap. It feels like grief wearing the mask of survival. Some viewers online have floated the idea that the shark itself is meant to mirror Sara's late father, an unspoken force from the same caves that finally gives her the closure a rescue mission never could. That's not confirmed anywhere in the film. It's just a theory, but it's a compelling one if you rewatch the ending with that lens. What makes this ending land is that Wadlow never lets Sara's survival feel clean. She doesn't beat the cave. She just outlasts it, badly injured, completely alone, with no idea when help is actually coming. That refusal to give her a tidy, triumphant final shot is honestly the smartest choice in the whole movie. What do you think the ending really meant? Let me know in the comments.